Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you guys would like a quick overview of the Sinclair Expander Die by Sinclair, stick around. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you would like to see the tests and tools that I use to make my group smaller, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get notified when I post a new video so you can see how I and the rest of the community here improve our load development. In today's video, we're going to do a quick overview of the Expander Die by Sinclair. Now, sometimes we might refer to this as Expander Die and Expander Mandrel Die. All those are probably technically correct, but basically, guys, the Expander Die comes without any inserts in it, and you're going to buy a mandrel die, also from Sinclair, of the appropriate size for the caliber you wish to reload. To start with, guys, there actually are two sizes of these dies. The first size accepts anything from 17 through 338 caliber, which is part number 749-001-715WB. But for you guys that do anything 35 through 50 cal, they also make another die that is 749-008-843WB. The first thing you might be wondering is why in the world would I even think about getting one of these dies? And honestly, guys, that's not really a horrible question. The first thing we might want to talk about is using these to help form brass, basically converting some type of brass into another type of brass. Even so basic as you want to talk about creating like 243 Winchester and converting that into 6.5 Creedmoor. You might want to use one of these Expander Mandrel dies to open the neck up to actually get the neck to accept the correct diameter of bullet. In some cases, there obviously will be other things that need to be done. However, there are certain things where these come into play. Another application that might seem reasonable for one of these mandrel dies is if you had a cartridge with a severely crushed neck, you guys want to try and open that up and save the brass. I know a ding neck on a piece of 338 Lapua brass would certainly make me sad. Trying to save that brass and use it another day, you might want to use one of these Expander mandrels to try and open that cartridge case back up very gradually. It might be in some case where feeding it into the forming die might just crush the neck, whereas you need to expand it before you might try and do that. But again, that's kind of up to you. The third thing we're going to go over today in a little bit more detail is basically what I use these for and why I bought this initially. And that is to set a very specific neck tension on the brass. We can argue all day about whether or not this is value added, and again, I will leave it up to you to decide what you guys want to do. Everyone has certain pluses and minuses to the way they form brass and the way they prep their brass, and I'm not telling you to change. I'm just saying this is one possible application for this die. First of all, realize in any particular caliber that you get, there's actually 3 different types available, but 2 different sizes. A regular Expander Mandrel for any particular caliber ranges anywhere from $10 to $16, so they're not extraordinarily expensive. There's also a regular turning die, which range, depending on the caliber, anywhere from $10 to $16. And secret option number 3 is actually the carbide turning die. For today's example, we're going to be sticking straight to the 338 caliber. These rules theoretically apply to all of the various sizes. Like anything, guys, do your own research if you're going to place an order. Today, we're going to be strictly talking about the mandrels for the 338 caliber today. So we're going to start off with the Expander Mandrel. The Expander Mandrels are theoretically exactly 1/1000th undersized. So if you were loading for a 338, this should be somewhere in the ballpark of 337. So measuring that out, 337. So guys, if you're going to size with your regular die and use this, you could set exactly 1/1000th neck tension with this Expander Mandrel. Now going straight to the turning die, as you'll see for the turning mandrel, this will actually is supposed to be exactly 2/1000ths under 338. So this should be around 336. So like we mentioned, measuring this mandrel is exactly 336. Now guys, I'm not saying that this is a fluke or this is incorrect. However, I will show you that the Expander Mandrel, it's actually carbide, is slightly smaller. So this carbide is exactly 3355. Just to give you guys a quick demonstration, I'll show you. I've expanded the neck on this 338 piece of Lapua brass to show you. For this demonstration, I actually open it up with the Expander Mandrel that is not carbide. So the carbide die being slightly smaller, I can literally slide that in and out right with my fingers. So guys, since I opened this up with this particular turning mandrel, which measures ever so slightly larger than the one in carbide, this one will go in, certainly more force, but it will insert. As you guys might guess, the Expander Mandrel will not go in because it is 1/1000th larger than the neck diameter size. Guys, a reasonable question to ask is why wouldn't you just use the expanding device inside whatever die set that you purchase to size your brass for reloading? And that is a reasonable question and can certainly start a lot of arguments depending on the circles that you're talking in. Depending on what die you're using, whatever it is, I will say that this is going to give you a little bit more options in setting the neck tension on your brass, and depending on the sizing die manufacturer, what exactly they actually set their inside sizing dimension to. In this particular case, my 338 set, the actual inner diameter ball, the best measurement I can take on it is 336.5. This actually, depending on what equipment that I'm using, is going to give me a slightly different inner neck diameter and give me a slightly different neck tension when I form my brass. One other quick thing that I'll touch on, and if you're a fan of the channel, you've heard it before, Glenn Zedeker in his book specifically talks about using Expander Mandrel instead of whatever comes with your die, simply because essentially the case is stronger coming down. So there's less chance of affecting the concentricity of your piece of brass if you do your final sizing of the neck with something pushing down from the top rather than pulling up from the bottom. Depending on how good your die is, how much lubrication, what else you might do, there's a greater possibility of putting some type of concentricity error back into your brass as you're pulling that expander ball back out through the mouth. Not that you can't affect concentricity with one of these, but theoretically there is a less chance of affecting concentricity. Whether it does or doesn't affect your load, improving my concentricity is always my goal, trying to create the best ammunition that I possibly can. One other thing of quick note, guys, there is actually an O-ring in this neck. Theoretically, when you have your mandrel in there, that's going to allow the cap to float ever so slightly and help the concentricity and have the mandrel be able to find the center of the case and only expand the case exactly what it needs to be expanded. And two, guys, if you guys want to use this with a regular full-length sizing die without the expander installed in the die, or if you guys want to use a bushing sizing die, which allows the neck to float inside there, this can obviously be used in both of those applications as well. One more thing that we'll talk about here, guys, I'll put this statement up from Sinclair. Like I said, the basic mandrels are made out of stainless steel, and the Sinclair stainless steel neck turning expander mandrels for 17 through 50 cartridges are turned from high-grade stainless steel on precision turning centers. Turning mandrels are size 2/1000 under bullet diameter, and expander mandrels are 1/1000 of an inch under bullet diameter. The shape and surface of all mandrels is the result of years of experimenting by many expert hand loaders. Our carbide turning mandrels are precision ground from solid carbide stock, which yields even closer tolerances. All carbide mandrels are ground to 2/1000 of an inch under bullet diameter. Adjustments are made to our NT 4000 turning tool will be more consistent with the carbide mandrels due to the tighter tolerances of the mandrels. Large caliber, 35 through to 50 caliber mandrels fit only the large caliber expander body and the NT 5000 turning tool. And guys, so if I wasn't clear, obviously besides setting that neck tension to a different size, if you're going to be doing some neck turning on your cases, having less slop on your mandrel and your brass should increase the consistency of your neck turning process. And that is honestly initially why I started buying these for my 6.5 caliber. Basically, that's all I can think of for my application. So guys, did I leave anything out? If so, let me know in the comments below, along with your comments and suggestions. If you have any specific advice, I would love to hear that too. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, liking, and commenting on all the videos. Until next week, stay safe in small groups, everyone.